Welcome back to Book Talk with Tracy, and welcome to my little art studio. This is the second segment talking about my book called Aliens Among Us. Last time I talked a little bit about the inspiration for the book, the fact that I'm a huge science fiction nerd, but I also talked about the fact that I was a little bit leery about ever writing in the genre because I do love it so much. I did mention another book that I co-wrote. It was actually a 3-book series, but the last 2 books never got made into paperbacks, with a group of authors called Colony Zero. So that was a really, really good experience for me in stepping out of my comfort zone and actually writing some science fiction. So I'm really grateful for that experience. But even then, I hesitated to write science fiction. I guess just because I wasn't sure I could do a good job of it. However, I'm really pleased to say that I did finally get over myself and write this book. And it is a lot of firsts for me. So not only my first full-length science fiction, it was the first time I've ever written in the first-person point of view. It was the first time I tried writing in present tense. And for those who don't know what that is, you can watch last time. And it's my first attempt at a YA novel, or a youth novel. On that, I got some interesting feedback from my beta readers after I finished the book. And one of the things that one of them said was, who's this for? He's a little bit too emotional, because the main character is a teenage boy. He's 16. His name is Francis Greenwater. And so, and I guess that's supposed to be him on the cover there. So, because he's in love with this neighbor, the next door neighbor who moves in. And, this person commented, is that real for teenage boys? Aren't they more just interested in, playing soccer or, I don't know, doing boy things? And I thought about it, so I tried to tone that down just a little bit, but I thought, well, just a minute here. I was a public school teacher for 20 years in the high school. I taught both junior high and high school, and I saw a lot of boys who were sappy, head over heels in love with girls. I'm telling you, it's real. So maybe the boys are more interested in roughhousing and sports, but I know a lot of boys who actually probably fit more into that moonstruck category. So I still wanted to keep that part of it. And then I think the other thing that came to mind was, well, actually, I think this book is for girls. I mean, it is a YA book, and I do think there's some cool action and adventure in it, and boys might enjoy it. But teenage girls like to read about boys who are in love or who like girls. So I think, I don't think it's off the mark in that way. But in any case, that was some interesting feedback that I did get. It is also a Christian book. It has, thematically talking about faith. And Francis is a Christian, but he's had a difficult life. He's had some difficult things in his life. His father, he thinks, had abandoned him before he was even born. So he was raised by a single mom who basically was raised in the church but turned her back on God. So thankfully he does have some grandparents, his grandparents who are believers, and they made sure he went to Sunday school and stuff. So he is a believer, but his faith is new, and it's a little bit immature, and he's working things out in his mind. So that's a thread that runs through, is him learning to trust God even in these difficult circumstances. So to talk a little bit more about the plot, Francis is, as I said, he's 16. He loves to skateboard, and he and his buddy are always doing that. But this weird family moves in across the street. And right away he notices, what looked like weird contraptions coming into the house, and he's thinking, wow, these guys are weird. But he, he's curious. It's summertime, so he has a little bit of time, and he goes over and introduces himself to the girl, because there's this girl who's probably his age, and he sees her and talks to her. And this is where he's smitten, right? he is attracted to her for sure. but there's just something off about this family. And so it takes him a little while. And then he meets supposedly her twin brother, except they don't look anything alike. But one of the things that he notices is that their eyes are really strange. So he starts to do research on aliens. I don't want to give away the whole plot. But in fact, what takes place, I can just read it off the back here. It says, "Trust your instincts. It just might save the planet." Francis Greenwater has a crush on the new girl until he finds out she's an alien. But before he can sort out his feelings, he must save the planet from impending doom as another of their kind goes rogue. An unlikely teenager turns superhero in this coming-of-age romantic sci-fi action adventure. So there is lots of action and adventure. There is that, the intrigue. And yeah, he does have to help save the planet. So I could see this as a Netflix movie. But hey, that's just my opinion. But in any case, I think it's a great book, even if you're not a youth, even if you're not really interested in science fiction. Give it a try. So head on over to my website. It's tracykrause.com. No E in Tracy, 2 S's in Krause. And you'll find this and all my other books and plays where you can link to them and potentially purchase, read some more information. And certainly if you like any of my books or plays, I would sure appreciate a review online. I have a little bit more to say about this book. So I'm going to end it here today, and we'll talk more next time on Book Talk with Tracy. Bye for now.